Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 19th June 2021. In this lecture, we are going to discuss 9 topics which are very much relevant to UPSC. So let's get started with our discussion and let us see first topic. So title says Supreme Court refuse to intervene in High Court ruling on students activist bail. So to understand this, you need to know background. So if I want to explain background regarding this topic, I can say in a simple way. So there are 3 student activists. They got arrested whenever they were mainly protesting because of this Citizenship Amendment Act. And they arrested under UAPA Act. So recently, High Court gave them bail. Okay, so this is background. At Supreme Court, it is saying that I will not going to intervene regarding this ruling which is given by High Court. So this is some background. And now let us see some facts regarding this UAPA Act. So this will be important from UPSC prelims point of view. So if you are talking about this UAPA, so it mainly stands for Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, and this act passed in year 1967. So important aim of this act, it is to effective prevention of unlawful activities associations in India, mainly to prevent some unlawful activities. So our government of India came up with this act. So what is this unlawful activity? So this unlawful activity means any activity which is taken by individual or association, they are intended to disrupt territorial integrity and as well as sovereignty of India. So those act will come under this unlawful activities under this act. So one more thing you need to remember here is, so this act assigns absolute power to central government because central government deems if any activity which is unlawful in nature, that can be declared by central government through an official gazette. So because of this, we can say absolute power which is given to central government mainly to decide which activity will comes under this unlawful activity. So if you are talking about further more important details under this act, so this act mainly prescribes highest punishments like death penalty, life imprisonment, etc. And this law will be applicable to both Indians and as well as foreigners. So this is a gist of this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says sale of illegal HTBT cotton seeds double. So one compared with the last year's sales, so this year sales of this HTBT cotton seeds that mainly doubled. So earlier there was about 30 lakh packets, now it increased to 70 lakh packets. So we are going to see this topic, why we need to focus on this topic. So here HTBT, what is this? It will comes under our science and technology. And if you are going for these genetically modified crops, what will be impact on environment and as well as humans? So this will be comes under environment and ecology point of view. So overall this article will be important regarding GS paper 3 under science and technology and as well as environment and ecology. So now let us try to talk about this topic in a very great detail. Context mainly says that illegal cultivation of HT, that is herbicide tolerant BT cotton, that is Bacillus thuringiensis cotton, which mainly see there is a huge jump in this year. So HT mainly stands for herbicide tolerant and BT is for Bacillus thuringiensis. It is a genetically modified plant. So if you are talking about some important details, it mainly says that seed manufacturing, it is mainly those companies claiming that, and it is saying that illegal seed packets that have been increased or doubled from 30 lakh last year to 75 lakh this year. That means more than doubled. So if you're talking about some facts regarding this BT cotton, it is a genetically modified crop or GM crop, and it is a transgenic crop. So this crop mainly approved by Center for Commercial Cultivation in India and genetically modified to produce an insecticide, that is insecticide. So here what is this BT? BT, it is a Bacillus thuringiensis. So here what happened whenever any bollworm, so normally this cotton crop will be affected by this bollworm. So this bollworm mainly affect leaves and as well as the flower buds. So these flower buds are very important for production of cotton, but these flower buds will be attacked by this bollworm, that is commonly called as common bollworm. So it is a common pest which is attacking this cotton plant. So what happened by using some genetically modification? So we introduce this insecticide into plant. So whenever this bollworm which is consuming leaves or this flower part, then already this plant will be generating insecticide. So there is no need of external spray of insecticide to kill this common pest, that is bollworm. So this is about this genetically modified cotton. So here this HTBT cotton variants, which mainly adds another layer of modification. So it is also having plant resistant to, this plant will be resistant to this herbicide glyphosate. So this one of the important thing that should remember. So because of this herbicide glyphosate, it is one of important thing which mainly causing cancer. So it is also a carcinogenic agent. And whenever we are going for this HT, that is herbicide tolerant, that is herbicide glyphosate tolerant, so which will be also leads to unchecked spread of herbicide resistant to nearby plants through pollination. So because of this, whenever we want to kill weeds, it will be not working. So weedicide, herbicides will not be working. So because of this, it will create mainly variety of super weeds. So it will be one cause of concern when we are using this genetically modified crops. So recently government also banned use of this, even though government know that whenever it is banning this type of seeds, then it will be reducing tax that is generating from these companies to government. So even though there is a loss which happening to government banned this using of this HTBT cotton varieties. But even though government banned, there is increase in use of this seeds that are seeing in market. And center also made a policy to ban this variant, that is HTBT cotton variety. But here whenever central government is passing anything, so state government need to take some action regarding that. So this is a gist of this topic. And now let us see next topic. Title says third wave may hit by October. So this article mainly focusing on this third wave of this coronavirus. So this topic will be important regarding health, which comes under GS paper 2. So now let us try to talk about this topic in a very great detail. So this article especially focusing on third wave. So context mainly says that third wave of this COVID-19 infections likely to hit India in month of October. So recently here one important study mainly done. So this study released by Reuters poll of medical expert. It mainly said that we are going to have this third wave of this COVID-19 by October. So one important thing which mainly highlighted by this report is, so though we are getting this third wave of this coronavirus, so this third wave will be better controlled than latest outbreak like second wave and as well as first wave of this coronavirus. And pandemic will remain a public health threat for at least another 1 year. So this is some important details. So first one is we are going to get this third wave by month of October. Second one is we are going to control this third wave better than compared to earlier outbreaks. And next one is this pandemic will remain a public health threat for 1 more year. So these are some important details which is given by this Reuters poll of medical experts. And if you're talking about some more details, it mainly says that, so from June 3rd to June 17th, SNAP survey which is mainly done of 40 experts. So after this 40 experts, 35% they said that next wave will hit by month of October. And other just 15% of people, they said that it will be between November and February. And 70% of experts, they said that new outbreak would be better controlled when we are comparing with that of earlier waves like first wave and as well as second wave. Okay, but we are having some important glitches we are facing in second wave and as well as first wave is shortage of vaccines, medicines, oxygen, hospital beds. And this problems now we are not going to face anymore in this third wave because we are having vaccines for international, that means from other countries also we are getting vaccines, and in India also we are making many steps to ensure vaccine supply, right? And we are also focusing on medicines and as well as we are also focusing on oxygen availability, etc. So because of all these things, we can now manage this third wave better than compared to that of earlier waves. And this article also talked about children. Children who are below age of 18 years, they would be most at risk. So this is opinion of 2/3 of experts. and 1/3 of experts mainly says that it is not going to be a risk for children. So these are some important things which are mainly discussed in this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says forest guards kill tiger in accidental firing. So this article mainly focusing on tiger, right? So this accidental firing that happened in Kaziranga National Park. So you need to know about this Kaziranga National Park. And there is one more news in our newspaper regarding one tiger mainly rescued in UP, that is mainly from Dudhwa National Park. So you have to know about some details regarding this Dudhwa National Park. So let me know in comment box in which state this Dudhwa National Park is located. Please don't forget this homework. So let me know about this Dudhwa National Park in comment box. So now in this lecture we are going to see about this Kaziranga National Park. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. So now let us see this topic in a very great detail. So if you're talking about context, it mainly says that an incident of accidental firing which resulted in death of tiger on outskirts of Kaziranga National Park. So because of accidental firing that led to death of tiger mainly on outskirts of this Kaziranga National Park. So because of this is in news. If you're talking about some facts regarding this Kaziranga National Park, which mainly located in state of Assam. So it was declared as a national park in year 1974 and it got this tiger reserve status since 2007 onwards. And it also declared as UNESCO's World Heritage Site in year 1985. So if you're talking about rivers and highways which are flowing through this national park, so river, that is river Diflu, which mainly flows, and as well as there are more than 250 seasonal water bodies are present in this area. And if you're talking about highways, National Highway 37 mainly passes through this national park. And next one is also recognized as important bird area by BirdLife International. And if you're talking about other national parks which are located in the state of Assam, they include Dipru-Sikowa National Park, Manas National Park, Nameri National Park, Rajiv Gandhi Orang National Park. So these are some important things that you should remember regarding this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says Summit for Vaccine Internationalism begins. So this article mainly talking about vaccine internationalism. So we already discussed about what is vaccine nationalism. So vaccine nationalism means here government and as well as manufacturing company, they will come up with agreement mainly to save some doses of vaccines which are produced by manufacturers for their people of that government. So this is called as vaccine nationalism. So whenever we are going for vaccine nationalism, that will decrease access to these vaccines to many countries. So now this article mainly talking about this vaccine internationalism. So whenever we are going for this vaccine internationalism, it will be mainly helpful for vaccine availability in number of countries. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 2 under international relations. So now let us try to talk about this topic in a very great detail. So context mainly says that the Progressive International 4-day Summit for Vaccine Internationalism, it mainly happening. So important goal of this summit is to end the pandemic as quickly as possible and we need to secure COVID-19 vaccines for all. So whenever we are securing COVID-19 vaccines for all, so we can achieve herd immunity and further that will lead to breaking of this transmission chain of this COVID-19. So because of this, achieving of herd immunity is very, very important and that can be done whenever we are making available vaccines. Okay. So through this vaccine internationalism, it is a progressive international 4-day summit. So important goal it is to end pandemic as quickly as possible by securing COVID-19 vaccines for all. So this is context. And now let us see some more details. It mainly says that this summit brings together global South government and as well as political leaders and healthcare workers and as well as vaccine manufacturers together to one platform. So if you're talking about matters of discussion in the summit, so this is one important platform which will be helpful for sharing of ongoing progress with candidates and as well as ongoing trial protocols and as well as data settings and as well as real time and as well as real transparency that will be increased. and as well as it will be helpful for allowing local manufacturers to produce critical doses also. So this will be some important areas of discussion. And if you're talking about discussion agenda, so first and the foremost thing you need to remember here is sharing of manufacture capability or capacity and investing in public industry, and also equipping factories mainly to produce vaccines which are mainly required for domestic and as well as global south. So they are mainly going to discuss about how to share manufacturing capacity and as well as how to invest in public industries, and they will also talk about equipping of factories that will be helpful for production of these vaccines, so which are mainly required for both domestic and as well as international use. So this is a gist of this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says Q2 manufacturing expectations drop. So this article mainly talking about GS3 under economy. So it mainly talking about economic recovery. So recently RBI came up with one report, that is June Industrial Outlook Survey. So according to this survey, it's mainly talking about some key highlights of this survey. So it's mainly talking about this manufacturing sector. So if you're talking about different types of sectors in our Indian economy, so we are having primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, quaternary sector, and as well as quinary sector. So here primary sector mainly deals with agriculture, secondary sector mainly deals with industry. So we are talking about this industry now in this lecture. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that RBI came up with this June Industrial Outlook Survey. So it mainly says that current business conditions of this manufacturing sector, they are dropped. Okay, and if you see it is also saying some index expectations or indications like second quarter of this financial year 2022 also we are going to have a less demand in market. So if you're talking about some more details, it mainly says that perceptions of businesses conditions point to adverse economic conditions. So because of this COVID-19 which impacted number of people, we went for lockdowns, closure of malls, closure of cinema theaters, closure of shops, etc. So because of this we can say economic crunch that is seen in market. And even this survey, so many respondents, they said that current general economic conditions, they will be worse more than a year. Okay, so this is about some important details. And if you're talking about what is need, so we need to go for acceleration of our vaccination program. So whenever we are increasing our vaccination, then only we can achieve this herd immunity. And next one is we need to make available of this health care, because that can boost confidence of consumers, workers, and as well as producers here. So this is just of this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says what needs to be done with vaccine. So this article, it is not that much important, but I took to this discussion. So now let us try to have a deep discussion or a brief discussion what is important from UPSC point of view. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 2 under health. So this topic will be especially important from mains point of view. So now let us try to discuss this topic in a very great detail. So if you're talking about this topic, so this article mainly talking about this vaccine efficacy. As you all know, whenever we are taking vaccine, so our body will respond to this vaccine and our body will generate this antibodies against this, right? So because of generation of antibodies in our body, so whenever suddenly antigen which is entering into our body, so these antibodies, they will recognize those antigens and they will destroy them. So because of this, these antibodies which are present in our body, they mainly prevent further infection or severe infections in our body. So if you're talking about recent study, which mainly says that vaccines using is very much effective against the SARS coronavirus, right? So these vaccines will be very much helpful for preventing of severe or serious health and as well as death in many people. So if you're talking about study, so first study by Nature Medicine. So this Nature Medicine, which is based on analysis of data from UK. So this data which is mainly collected between December 1st, 2020 till April 30, 2021. It mainly says that AstraZeneca vaccine, which mainly shows 64% of effectiveness when we are taking one dose. And it is also showing about 79% of effectiveness or efficiency with second dose. So even if you are talking about this one of important variant which is mainly circulating, that is alpha variant. So for this alpha variant, this drug which is very much, or this vaccine is very useful. And next one is Public Health England. So this Public Health England also came up with one important report. So in this report, it mainly said that AstraZeneca vaccine, which is very much effective, okay. So it is about 71% effective when we are taking one dose, and it is 92% effective whenever we are taking 2 doses of this Covishield. And third one here is research from Christian Medical College from Bangalore. This is from India. So this study mainly analyzed about 8,991 staff, and effectiveness it is about 92%. 92% of people, they do not require any external support of oxygen. And next one is 94% of people, they are against need of intensive care also. So these are some good things regarding this study. So in this context, what is the need, what can be done? So first step here is we can go for prioritization of our delivery strategy, and we need to cover large number of proportion of population under vaccination. So if you're talking about goals, so we can keep 2 types of goals, that is short term goals and long term goals. So short term goals means that need to be achieved immediately, and long term means we are having some time. So if you're talking about short term goals, they include to prevent individuals at higher risk, and regarding this long term, it is about control of infection. So if you're talking about short term measures, they can be very much useful for surviving, okay, from deaths, and as well as outlet, they are generally risk, okay. So if you are talking about saving of lives here, so we need to divide society into different groups. For example, children are there, for example, adults are there, and old people are there. So old people, they are most vulnerable or greater risk that is seen in those old people, because they are also facing some comorbidities like diabetes mellitus and as well as hypertension, that is BP, that is commonly seen in these old people. So because of this old people, they will be most vulnerable to this coronavirus. So because of this, we need to go for first vaccinate these people who are at higher risk. That will helpful mainly to decrease seriousness of health or severity of health, illness, and as well as death of these people. So one important thing we need to gain here is every adult by end of 2021, they need to get this vaccinated. And next one is we need to focus on especially rural areas. In rural areas, we must take vaccine to every village, and we need to build experience of pulse polio program and as well as conducting elections. So we need to take some campaigns here. We need to give some information for these rural people regarding what is advantages of these vaccines and etc. And here we can also use some community leaders. Community leaders, they should be empowered with information and as well as tools that will be very much helpful for broadcast messages, okay. And we can use some broadcast messages mainly to give alerts for these people, and as well as we need to ensure there is a greater participation of these people that can be done in this vaccination drives. And this one is central government. So central government should come up with a centralized vaccination policy. So whenever there is centralized vaccination policy here what happened here, government, that is central government, they need to buy directly from manufacturers. So from manufacturers, central will buy, right? Central will provide to states here. So whenever central is going to manufacturers directly and they are going for purchase, so cost of one vial will be about very much less than compared to states whenever they are going for manufacturers to get their vaccines. So finally, this article says that government must trust its citizens, and as well as government need to share information that it is solely available with government. That will be one of important weapon to build trust between government and as well as people. So this is just of this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says cold peace. So this article mainly talking about Russia and USA summit that held recently, and this article mainly talking about highlights of this summit. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So recently Russia USA summit that held. So if you see context, it mainly says that US president and as well as Russian president, they held high stakes summit. So this meet comes at an end when Russia USA partnership, okay, Russia and USA partnership that is at a very low now, and as well as it is first meet of this US new president also. So this is context. And if you see some key points regarding this summit, so first one is both the sides, they share some unique responsibility to manage relationship between two powerful and as well as proud countries, that is USA and Russia. And as well as they also want to cooperate in their mutual interest, and as well as here US mainly raises some issues like Ukraine issue, and as well as human rights issues in in Russia, there are many human rights violations that are seen, and as well as there is no proper press freedom in Russia, and as well as election interference. So these are some important things which are mainly highlighted by USA in this summit. So if you're talking about this whenever US which is mainly talked about these things like Ukraine, human rights, and as well as press freedoms, etc. Here Russia also dismissed some important things. Russia said that aggression of Ukraine, which is an important thing because it mainly comes under territorial integrity of Russia. There is nothing to do with USA statement regarding that. And Ukraine, which is joining NATO. So regarding this, here Russia mainly opposed this statement of Ukraine to join this NATO. And next one is Russian opposition leader. Regarding this person also, US mainly raised a question like why this so and so person is kept in jail. So one person mainly Vladimir Putin mainly fears he is opposition leader, that is Alexei Navalny. So he mainly put under bars now. Okay, so Russian president mainly said that he did some activities which are against law of Russia. So because of this now he is in jail. And they also talked to how to de-escalate tensions between these two countries, and they also focused on even cyber security. Cyber security is one of top most priority of US, and in this context leaders they agreed to task experts on cyber attacks on both the countries. So this is just of this topic. And now let us move on to the next topic. Title says in India, looking beyond binary to a spectrum. So this article mainly talking about same-sex marriages. So this topic will be very important from polity point of view. So now we are going to see what is written in this article and which is important from UPSC point of view. So if you're talking about this article which mainly talking about same-sex marriages. So before saying this same-sex marriages, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. So if you want to clear UPSC 2022, we came up with one excellent, highly beneficial and as well as highly economical course, that is current affairs package along with the mains answer writing practice. So how this course will be useful? So before entering into examination hall, you need to know at least 1.5 year current affairs for sure. And this is right time to join this course to cover this 1.5 year current affairs in a comprehensive manner. And why you need to focus on this current affairs? Because most of your preparation that should be based on this current affairs to clear this UPSC. So this is first important thing, and even prelims, mains and as well as in interview, you can get questions from this current affairs. To give answers to that questions, you need to master current affairs for sure. And next one is mains answer writing practice. So many students who are freshers or who are beginners, they ignore this mains answer writing practice. So because of this, even though if they clear prelims, they cannot clear mains without proper answer writing skills. And if you join this course, we also conduct prelims test on every Sunday, and we also provide a video explanation part. So in this way, this course which is mainly designed as per demand of UPSC. So for further details of this course, link which is given in description box. So please visit that once. And if you want to talk to me directly regarding this course, you can call to this number 8074765513. Okay, now let's come back and let us say next topic. So this article mainly focusing on the same-sex marriages. So if you're talking about the same-sex marriages, there are a number of cases which are mainly filing in our courts. But whenever cases which are regarding this same-sex marriage, they are delaying a lot. Because now it is coronavirus, that is COVID-19 pandemic, and it is one of important reason that we can say like pending of cases that are seen in court. Okay, but if you are talking about globally, this same-sex marriages, they are legalized in many countries, in more than 29 countries actually. So even if you are talking about South Africa, South African Constitutional Court in 2015 came up with one amendment. So through this amendment, it came up with the legalization of the same-sex marriages. And in 2006, it also came up with one amendment. It mainly said that 2 persons above 18 years, they will go for marriage. Okay. So earlier what happened, it is not 2 persons, that is husband and wife. But here now it changed to 2 persons. And next one is in 2007, Australia also legalized same-sex relationship. And even in Commonwealth also there is one important law which mainly legalized this same-sex marriage. And even in England and Wales, same-sex couple act 2018 came into existence. And in 2015, US mainly decided that it is a fundamental right to marry marry here, because as you know, right to marry which is also comes under this fundamental right. So here fundamental rights, they will also guide us to guarantee the same sex couples. So here because of this, here same sex couples or same sex marriages which are legalized in USA also. So across the world, the recognition of unequal laws discriminating against LGBTQA community here. So because of this, we need to come up with some reforms in this area, and we need to modernize our legal architecture also. So these are some important points. And if you are talking about India especially, so for in India, we are having different sections of people like Hindus, Muslims, and as well as Christians, Buddhists, Jainists, etc. So for this, we are having different laws. So there is no uniform civil code in India. So for Hindus, we are having Hindu Marriage Act. For Indian Christians, we are having Indian Christian Marriage Act of 1872. And for Muslim, we are having Muslim Personal, that is Shariat law of 1937. So because of this, we can say here same-sex marriages in India, they are not recognized here. So recently, Madras High Court in famous case, that is Jahan versus Ashokan K.M. Vadars, in this judgment, Supreme Court said that right to choose and as well as right to marry a partner, it was a constitutionally guaranteed freedom. So whenever there is no same-sex marriage to recognized in India, then it will be violating Article 14, Article 15 and Article 21 of Indian Constitution. So for example, in Tamil Nadu state government came up with self-respect marriage, which mainly legalized, okay. And in this context, author mainly says that what can be done. So what is need? Need here is we need to understand what is the urgent need of urgent things which is mainly required by this LGBTQ community, and we need to think whether we need to legalize or not, because already 29 countries, they legalized this same-sex marriages. So this is just of this topic. I hope it is clear. By this, we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And don't forget to enroll this current affairs package. Thank you so much.